Hey everybody. So we've already talked about anonymity and dating and how those two concepts kind of mix and intertwine. And today we're going to take things to the next step, I suppose, and talk instead of dating about relationships. Now, anonymity, for pretty obvious reasons, is not really necessarily as important when it comes to a relationship as opposed to when you're dating somebody that you maybe don't know very well. Although anonymity still can help out on the side of privacy. And privacy is something which is really important when it comes to your relationships, whether they're romantic or intimate relationships or just your mates hanging out. So the reason that privacy is so important, although obviously, if you're just talking to your friends or maybe your partner, you might just be, talking about what you need to pick up for dinner from the supermarket that night, or when you're gonna get to a concert or something like that. And these things might not seem really very sensitive, so you might think to yourself, well, why do I need to keep this private? But the argument here is an argument that is probably very familiar to a lot of people who often talk to others that are maybe less inclined to privacy about the issue, which is this concept of I don't have anything to hide, so I don't really care about privacy, I don't need to worry about it. Well, the issue with this line of thinking is that while you may not think you have anything to hide, and for a lot of people that probably is quite very much the case, that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be sharing every single detail of your lives. I can tell you with my partner, if we sleep in the same bed at night, put our phones, next to the bed to charge overnight, ready for the next day, our phones know that they're in proximity to each other, connected to the same Wi-Fi network, and then you start to see really funny things happening, like they will be getting advertisements which are not actually targeted at them, but at me, for products that they would never use. But the idea is that obviously there's been a connection made between the two of us by advertisers through our data and metadata and things that are shared. And then they're able to start doing some really sneaky kind of advertising based on that. So that's just one really simple example of why privacy might matter. The other reason, of course, is that sometimes with the people that you have really close relationships with, a lot of the conversations that you have are obviously going to be those really innocuous things like, oh, what time are you going to be home from work this afternoon? But sometimes they might be things that are a little bit more sensitive and a little bit more personal. And you want to have the ability to keep those moments private and to be able to just have those moments between the two of you. And these days, as more and more of our lives are taking place online, it's really important to transfer that privacy that you normally might get from, say, being at home, sitting on the couch, just the two of you, to being able to text each other and having it just the same be the two of you. Because at the moment there are kind of a lot of people in the room. A lot of the time when we're online, it's not really just the two of you, even in a DM. So it's really nice to get that feeling of actually just having a bit of alone time. And that's really valuable, whether, like I said, it be with a romantic partner or just a friend. And so this is really important. And it's also important to point out as well that when it comes to privacy, your privacy doesn't just help you, it also helps all of the people around you. So by keeping yourself more private and limiting the amount of data that you share or expose online, you're also actually helping out all of the people that you know in a way as well. And likewise, it goes the other way sometimes. If the people around you are really lacking in privacy, sort of practices, I suppose, then that can really impact your privacy as well. A colleague of mine, she recently was talking about going back to somebody's house, and they had a Google Home Assistant in their house. And it was a really unexpected thing for them to see, and something which made them feel a little bit uncomfortable, because as far as they were concerned, that's a piece of surveillance that they've just walked into this house and Google's in the room, which was something that they really weren't comfortable with. So it's always worth keeping in mind that privacy, it's not an island. It's not just for yourself, but also for all of the people around you, and it can benefit all of us. And it's really important for all of us to keep that little bit of extra privacy in our relationships. That's pretty much all I have got to say on this one, but I'll see all of you next time. Take it easy.